KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough. If we care enough.
Feeling that. Feeling that. Is you with me? I'm the type you see at the bar, fresh, buying it up. And every girl I talk to, yeah, I'm trying to cut. I tell them all I'm cheat, and it's nice to meet you. Real quick, I tell her how she got all the right features. The jams come on, and the glasses get refilled. We dance and watch the relations build. Now I'm all up in her ear, and she listening. At the same time, watching how I'm listening. Bling, bling, I'm thinking it's about time to go. Get the B out of LA and start the late night show. Hey, I know, but I don't stop, I shine. I'm in the club every week. Same place, same time, same thing on the mind. Party, so the hell with all that. I'm trying to find somebody, the right kind, before the lights come on. I'm trying to take something home. Now if I buy you a drink and you drink it up, then you going home with me. And on my face, talking at the party and you talk too much, then you going home with me. Now if you came with a friend that don't want to do my man, then you need to
give her your keys.
Tell her to call you tomorrow, or give you a beat, cause tonight you're going home with me. And is it because my name's Jermaine? No, it's all about how I kick my game, you know? I just flow with it, spend a little dough with it. Entertain before you know I'm in your brain, doing my thing, telling you how good you smell. Setting you up for a drop top cruise
through the ATL.
When they tipsy, it's risky, you don't know what you're facing. Move around and end up like Anthony Mason. So I let them know a few things before we leave. Like it's true, I taste damn near everything. So don't even think about lying, baby, or trying maybe to set me up for rape.
This is my part right here.
Where you said put the cake, how you fed me the grapes, what I did with the ice
that made you shake. Welcome back into hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Jermaine Dupri's solo album, Life in 1472. That's where this was on. This also had Money Ain't a Thing on it. A couple of other ones. It was a little compilation album. You know, it had the Brat, Jagged Edge on there. He was doing his thing. Hey, this is my song too. Come on. Hey, yeah. And of course, I love the sample, so, you know. Sweetheart, him and Mariah Carey, they went to Spain to film this video. This video was insane. Mariah looked amazing. This was the bop. Boy, haven't you noticed? Come on. Amazing. Fire album. Shout out to Jermaine Dupri. That's when they had they started this show again. It was called Motown Live or something like that. It was like a Showtime at the Apollo type show, but it was Motown. I think Montel Jordan hosted it and Keith Sweat, something like that. I don't know. I remember going to the taping and Jermaine Dupri was performing stuff from this album and it was up. It was up. This was a little club joint. I think this was like 97, 98, something like that, right? Somewhere in there.
98.
Yep.
And Diddy, you messed up, homie.
Diddy? Oh, for the verses?
I'm just saying.
Well,
this would have been legendary.
What have I been saying since day one? People underestimate Jermaine Dupri's catalog, what he can bring out. It is the sequencing of that thing. We're never going to see it. We will probably never see another verses anyway.
Can we make the case that JD was popping before even Diddy was popping?
He was.
Okay, just
Point blank,
clarify.
period.
Crisscross.
Before Cross, okay, JD had a single that he produced. It was a female rap group. They were called Silk Times Leather. It dropped in 1990. And that was his first production thing. I think he was about 16, 17 years old. And of course, we can't forget Jermaine Dupri at the opening of Houdini's Freaks Come Out at Night video, hitting his pop lock with his Jerry curl on. Do you know what I'm saying? JD is hip hop. Shout out to them because the Freaknik documentary is dropping, I believe this week. I've watched half of it. I'm going to finish it. It's pretty interesting. Jermaine Dupri is featured heavily in there. Going to be talking to him tomorrow. So we'll have that for you guys coming up. But anyway, anytime, yeah, shout out to that. Thank you, Andy. That was a good memory unlocked. Shout out to that album. Might have to go pull that back out. Speaking of musical legacies and being handed down, Northwest announced at her dad's show that she is dropping an album and she is taking inspiration from her dad's album title of his first one, College Dropout. She says her debut album will be titled Elementary School Dropout. So shout out to Miss Westy, yo bestie. You know that was from Kanye's song on Vulture. Speaking of Kanye, at 46 years old, has the #1 song in the country. He and Ty Dolla $ign's Carnival tops the Billboard Hot 100 this week. And it makes him the oldest rapper ever to have a #1 song. And it is his first solo #1 since Stronger in 2007. So take a look at the landscape of hip hop. I know we talk a lot about J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake, or whatever, but these older rappers aren't letting go and they're charting over 40. Hip hop is getting older. It is. Andy?
The thing with Kanye, though, I feel like he's still kind of tapped into what the youth are listening to.
Facts. Kanye got a weird hold on his audience. But a lot of these people do. That's just where we are. The fandom has to be obsessive. It has to be all-consuming.
Where Kendi at? I'm sure he can explain even better.
I know. Kendi, shout out to you. We talking about your guy. T.O. Moss, Silk Times Leather, The Woman in Me. See, that is why we have our KBLA music experts. Make sure that you guys check out T.O.'s show on the weekends here on KBLA.
Lyric Lounge.
I'm sorry. I know the name. I don't know why I was thinking. I was just in the moment. It's Lyric Lounge.
I believe 4 p.m. on Saturdays.
4?
I believe so.
Okay.
I could
4
be wrong.
o'clock on T.O. let us know. But you guys should definitely tap in. They have a lot of knowledge about music, get into some interesting stories and backstories, history. So, I love music. Their show is a great show to tap into and get those vibes there. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into this Love is Blind story. We're going to talk about Miss Cardi B and what's going on with that. And, of course, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So look, Lyrics Lounge is 4 p.m. on Saturday. This coming Saturday, they're going to be dropping music from Freaknik. So you know you don't want to miss that. Tap in. You're always tapped in, but tap in for that show, please. And let them know that you came from RSVP. We appreciate that. All right, so listen. Kendi, our favorite. Shout out to you, Kendi. You made your appearance. I appreciate you. Horns for you. Kendi says, while Jay-Z and Beyonce were toasting the elites at the Oscars, you know, they have their gold party afterwards, I believe at the Chateau Marmont. I think it went down last night. Kanye was in the stands with the people. But Kendi, explain some things for me. Is Kanye for the people because the apparel that he is dressing his wife, Bianca, in, who's supposed to wear that? That looks like all types of, you know, STIs waiting to happen and just inappropriate things, you know? Kanye is for some people. I mess with Kanye musically, but you know, Kanye is on some other stuff sometimes that makes you like, I'm gonna wait till you chill out a little bit. I'm gonna wait till you get back on some normal stuff, because sometimes some of these things as well also feel very, very, you know, stunts and shows. Andy?
And that's why people need to separate the shenanigans from the art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, people get caught up in the shenanigans and, I don't want to listen to the music no more. I don't want to watch this movie. Learn how to compartmentalize, y'all.
I mean, and I agree with you on that, but sometimes it's just like, I don't want to hear his blabbing. I don't want to hear, you know, the stuff that he does. Like,
change the channel.
You know, yeah. Facts.
That's all
facts
I'm saying.
On facts. Facts on facts. You were right about that.
We are in an on-demand society.
Yeah, you can move along to whatever you want to at any given moment.
You can fast forward, rewind, pause. I'm just saying.
Move around, people. So speaking of stunts and shows, Cardi B is dropping another single this week. We know she's getting ready for what we presume is an album release drop. So some are speculating, because Cardi was on live last night. She went to the Vanity Fair party, which is attended by a lot of celebrities, right? But while she was on live, she got a phone call from a friend and indicated that she saw somebody there and she had some words for the somebody there, and she don't play that. So we're going to get into that in a second, but some are speculating who that somebody was. Was it Sweetie? Ice Spice was there as well. So here's the backstory on why people feel like it might be Sweetie. And they're also speculating that Cardi is trying to start drama to generate interest about her forthcoming drops. It was alleged, remember Sweetie dated Quavo for a minute. There were some rumors that came out a few years back that had Offset and Sweetie allegedly hooking up or trying to or something. Everybody was like, that's cap. But apparently, if you believe said rumors, Cardi B and Sweetie still don't get along. Another reason why people think that it might be Sweetie is because Sweetie posted to her Instagram story, and she was sharing how she had on $25 million worth of diamonds, that, she's just in Rich Tivities, which is her new single, which, people... Sweetie is another one that makes, sometimes she makes little fun bops. It's not the most lyrically complex things that you've ever heard, but it's cute girl music, go out music, or whatever. I don't know why people get so mad at her for making her little bop anthems, but they do. And Sweetie tweeted out that, if you just don't like me, that's your problem. I don't be bothering anybody. I mind my business. People are speculating that that was to Cardi. Sweetie says it was about somebody talking about her boobs because we know she got a boob job. I'm going to tend to go with she was talking to somebody. But let's check out what Cardi had to say on her live.
I definitely ran into somebody. You know me. I don't play that. But I'll call you later because I'm on live. I'll tell you all the Tiana later. Bye.
So, real quick, not too much into detail, but again, here come the rumors. Some say they were started by Media Takeout. I don't know. That Sweetie and Cardi had a confrontation that as soon as Cardi saw her, allegedly, she went up to Sweetie and started loud talking her. And they said Sweetie kept it classy. Again, all this is alleged, but was holding her own. We don't know, but we'll see if there are any more subs dropping and what's going on with that. We do know that, again, it's been an interesting place for hip hop. It's been almost 6 years now since Cardi dropped, and we're waiting to see what happens. Before I get into this story about Love is Blind, I want to shout out yesterday, March 10th, marked 41 years actually since Billie Jean was first played on MTV. And we know what that sparked. We know that initially MTV was leery to play it. They felt that they didn't want to give black audiences the airtime. So shout out to Mike, always putting it down. Also, there was a UFC fight that took place over the weekend. And as has been the case as of late, Donald Trump was in the building. He flicked up with some NFL stars, Nick Bosa, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow looked a little awkward in it, but Joe Burrow's been wearing the chain and people were confused, like, what's happening? You're not supposed to be on that side. And another one, Sage Steele, she posted a photo with Trump and her caption was, "What a night." A lot of people have left Sage Steele behind a while ago, so that shouldn't be too surprising, but yeah, that happened over the weekend. Andy?
That's why the Niners lost.
Well, there's always next season. We'll see what happens. Continuing that theme on. Okay, so look. Are you fans of Love is Blind? Love is Blind is the Netflix show where different people are picked and they connect through these conversations that they have with the idea that at the end of the challenge, show, whatever, they are looking to meet their potential husband or wife sight unseen and will eventually get married. So people fell in love with a couple, Clay, a black couple, Clay and AD. And, it was really intense. People were, it is season 6, I should point out, of the show. And a lot of people felt that what happened with AD, whose real name is Amber Desiree Smith, and Clay Graves Andre, I believe, something like that. That's Clay's last name. He became engaged to Amber and, got her all the way to the altar. And then just as they were about to wed, right, all dressed up, he said he couldn't meet her there. He said, AD, I love you. I don't think it's responsible for me to say I do. He went on to say, I know fully I'm not ready for marriage. And, his decision impacted viewers a lot. Like, throughout the season, he discussed a lot of his concerns. He was worried about being the best husband possible. He said he didn't want to cheat on his spouse. He opened up that fear came from his parents, Trevor and Margarita. He said that his dad was married to his mom for almost 24 years before they divorced, that he cheated on her and even brought him on infidelity trips with him when he was a kid. And this information was news to Clay's mom, right? After Margarita and Trevor discussed his decision not to marry AD, a conversation took place that, a lot of people don't get the chance to see up close, especially in the context of a marriage, and especially not on a reality dating show between two individuals that aren't contestants, but, the parent of one. And, Margarita was basically saying that when kids grow up seeing things like this type of dysfunction in a marriage, it causes them to question the validity of marriage as an institution. So we're going to listen to a bit of their conversation and have a talk about it.
Part of what he is struggling with, he struggles with a marriage.
With commitment? Okay.
With a marriage.
Okay.
Is it sacred?
Mm-hmm.
Do you honor? He struggles with that. And all of those emotions and twisted feelings, he took that to the altar. And a lot of that stems from things that you have to explain and then apologize. Don't make excuses, just apologize so that closure can be had. But the marriage thing, the commitment, he struggles with that. He's like, I know you stayed, Mom, but there's things that I saw that I should not have saw or been in a position, and kids, when they grow up and they see things, it's like, is marriage for real? Or is marriage something that you get into and you lie and you deceive? And he took a lot of that to the altar with his decision.
Here's the thing too, Rita. I didn't necessarily have the best role models in my life.
I know.
I can't ever remember my father ever being a part of my life. And
listen, I've always told you I forgave her. But there are things that had came out in the end that I did not know about until this experience. I was hurt. Again, I'm divorced from you, but things that he shared with me that I did not know. So that's what I'm saying. He took a lot on his back, and although we came from broken families, that doesn't mean that we have to pass on that brokenness to our kids.
Absolutely. You can stop the bleeding, stop the cycle.
Right. Your past and things that you witness is part of your DNA, it's part of your inside. And if you don't get freaking help, you bring that into the next thing. So the fact that he did this process, he wants to be in a long-term relationship. He wants that.
Tell him meet somebody like you.
Huh?
I met you, tell him meet somebody like his mom.
Yeah, but you met me, but you wasn't good to me.
So people thought that that was really, really a powerful moment. They were already, cheering for his mom because when she brought on, I believe it was episode 9, she and Clay's sister had dinner with the couple, and there was a conversation about work-life balance. And, Margarita put it on the table. She said, marriage is hard, and my marriage didn't work, but I had a good run. And I think it's something to be said about, we talk about generational trauma in other ways, but we don't really talk about the impact that cheating sometimes can have on the children. What did that mean to Clay as a little kid, seeing his dad, this secret that he had to keep from his mom, and they would go and do that. I'm sure he's not the only person that has had some type of experience like that. Brother Alfonso says, me and my daughter have been watching Love is Blind, and I was surprised at the AD Clay ending. However, my daughter said Clay had issues all along, and she was right. And a lot of people, like your daughter, caught on to that and said that they felt that energy, and that it became even more apparent when, before the wedding, you looked at the 2 different conversations that Clay had, one with his father and one with his mother. When he was visiting with his father, Trevor, prior to the ceremony, he admits to his son that he had never been a good role model for him, and that he was modeling the behavior of his own father, who wasn't present in his life. So even though Clay had 2-parent home, he had a father figure, his father was mirroring what he saw, which was not that in the home. And so a lot of times, and I am one of those people that I used to say a lot, I only want to deal with someone that comes from a 2-parent home, because there's certain things. But here's an example of, just because you do doesn't mean that you saw the right thing, and it doesn't mean that you were enriched in the proper way, right? Clay also said that this conversation that he had with his father was the most emotionally that he's ever gotten out of his dad, and it took him a long time to sort of realize his father's negative qualities. And he says that it is his desire to be married, but he is at odds with the relationship trauma that he was exposed to in the past, influenced by his dad's decisions. He said, it's just tough to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm causing a lot of issues in my life. I'm causing a lot of stress. I believe that me being married would be great for me. And although people would say, don't let your past dictate your future, the man he is, I'm a lot like my dad. And, on one hand, you got to applaud him for recognizing that. Now, did he probably recognize that before he walked up to the altar? I think so. And that's a little unfair. But, I'm just curious. As I said, the reunion will air on the 13th. His mom, as she prepared him for his impending nuptials, which didn't happen, she said, whatever the decision is, I support you completely. Just yield into your feelings. And so, a different move. But Margarita, says she didn't seem surprised. Well, she didn't appear to be surprised that he said no. But she understands the disappointment, and she hugged AD, and we again will have to see what happens. Clay's parents said, if you're not 100% sure, don't cross that line. At the end of the day, you got to do what makes Clay comfortable. When we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Now Warpan, I'm the wrong man, you figured the trick. But I'm feeling your dress, girl, and loving your hips. But I'm bugging off this, why you stuck on the wrist? Go digger, huh, mommy? Oh, you ain't that some suddenly you hugs and kisses.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The U.S. Embassy is evacuating non-essential staff members from Haiti as gang violence grips the Caribbean nation. The U.S. Southern Command says American military forces are assisting the operation and helping provide security at the request of the State Department. Families of diplomats and others were reportedly being airlifted out of the capital city of Port-au-Prince to safety. President Biden is calling on Congress to work with his administration to lower health care costs. While speaking in New Hampshire, the president outlined his health care agenda, which includes expanding the Affordable Care Act and capping out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare. He contrasted his plan with Republican lawmakers who he says wants to repeal Obamacare. And Muhammad Ali will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame next month. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Let Express Employment Professionals help you hire for contract or full-time jobs. Forget about posting jobs, sifting through resumes, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Go to expresspros.com to find the location near you. That's expresspros.com.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't hit me too hard. Oh yeah. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Al B. Shore. First album, 88. That high falsetto, that acid wash denim suit in the video. Get off. So listen, we were talking about Love is Blind and the failed marriage for Clay and AD. Brother Alfonso in the chat says, I know the father did bad in the past. However, I don't like that the public somehow wants to punish the father again when he and the wife have been divorced for years. I do understand his impact on Clay. I think that is just the nature. You know, people are very much... Well, one of the things that I really enjoyed about this conversation is it wasn't a bunch of histrionics. It wasn't yelling, name calling. You know, it was just an adult conversation about the grievances and things that happen in the relationship and how they're currently impacting their son. You know, it wasn't extra. It wasn't, you know, we didn't need to call security or anything like that. It was a conversation, and you could see the regret on Trevor, the father's face, a bit. And I think that from that perspective, it was important to see, because we always see drama. We hear about, you know, generational trauma and bad stuff, but we don't always see the conversation happen in a calm and collective and adult manner. So there is that. What I also should mention is that for AD, you know, Clay wasn't the only one that was dealing with trauma from divorce. AD also went through that. And she also said that, you know, her parents got divorced early on. And in the season, she mentioned that she had a habit of trying to fix men and she needed to take a break. that Clay was probably the type of guy that she usually would date, but she does not plan on continuing to date him further after this situation. Andy?
You're not talking about basketball, are you?
No.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing.
I know. Amber Denise, that's the AD. We know Anthony Davis, he's married. The Brow got married a while ago. It's a couple of kids. He is somewhere between AD and LeBron. As far as, I mean, not AD and LeBron, Kawhi and LeBron. As far as Kawhi, you never see his wife or his mother. LeBron, we know Savannah's on her world tour right now. Speaking of, there's been a lot of chatter over the weekend. On Friday, during the Lakers game, you know, LeBron didn't play. And during a timeout, he went over and sat between Jeannie Buss, we know she owns the Lakers, and her best friend, Linda Rambis, who is married to former Lakers coach, Kirk Rambis. The two met when they were very young. Linda was working in the organization. Her sister was a Playboy model and actually dated Dr. Jerry Buss at one point in time. And so that is how she got the introduction, and Linda ended up coming to work for the franchise, and she and Jeannie became BFFs, and it's been that way ever since. At any rate, the internet has been ablaze because LeBron sat down between the two of them and had a conversation, and at one point, Jeannie put her head on his shoulder. Linda was touching him, and people felt like, that the white women were way too friendly and did not respect boundaries, touching on the very married Lakers superstar. And they were like, well, what's so funny? Why were they giggling so much? When LeBron sat down, because, you know, we read lips over here a little bit. LeBron said to them, first of all, Happy International Women's Day. Like a man that is aware of his audience should. You know, I mean, listen, are there some women that are perhaps a little more affectionate and touchy? Yeah, but this is also someone that LeBron has known for quite some time. People were like, oh, LeBron got home and Savannah put him on punishment. She was probably upset. Savannah ain't worried about that. It's not a big deal. Do you know? I guess, but what I have realized is the older I have gotten, the more secure I am as far as things that probably in my 20s might have had me jumping or had me reacting. Kendi says, La charisma. That's funny. LeBron definitely has the riz when need be. He knows what to do and when to turn it on. But I think that people just, again, maybe I'm naive, maybe it's an overreaction. I am not going to, unless they have some type of history that I know about, I'm not going to be up in arms about my significant other having a conversation with a woman, even with the owner of the team owner, even if, you know, she puts her hand on his shoulders. Like, I'm not going to react on that because, two, it is up to my man, to, I don't need him to embarrass the woman or be in that moment, you know, pushing the hand away or doing all the dramatics, but it is up to him to make sure those boundaries are respected. So I don't know. Maybe, again, I am naive, but I think people were overreacting. Most of it was just the joke, though. Andy?
I guess it's hard to have interpersonal relationships when you're in a relationship or married, especially when you're in the public light, because
people make a lot of assumptions.
Absolutely. I mean, he could have hugged them. Or didn't Savannah, I felt like we talked about this. Savannah doesn't really talk to men or whatever.
Yeah, she doesn't really. Yeah, she doesn't really associate with male LeBron fans. You don't really see her, you know, making contact. Again, they may have something that they dictate in their relationship. Like, I am very much of the mindset of how you choose to run your relationship and what you do in the context of your relationship is between you and that individual. So if you feel like you got to check phones and do all that, I'm not doing that. I don't want to have to work that hard, but I understand people that do.
Well, social media basically is saying we don't want you to have interpersonal relationships.
Right.
Period. You're married or you're in a relationship with somebody. We don't want no hugs from the back.
None of that.
We don't want no hand on the forearm or anything like that. So
I mean, I've seen a lot of conversation. They're like, oh, why do you need to have female friends or male friends if you're married? Oh, why do you need to be friends with people that are uncoupled? That leads to temptation. Again, I am not that insecure about it. I understand people have had experiences, things or whatever. There is habitual boundary steppers, but I'm not policing that. I expect the person that I am in a relationship with to handle that. And whatever. Listen, the chat is warming up. When we come forward, we're going to get into this commentary in the chat because it is always entertaining. We love that. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick! Sorry, kids! Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit LAFLA.org. LAFLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. As I said, the chat is bustling. So we have some commentary in there. Urban Spinster says, I wouldn't be insecure thinking that my significant other is cheating, but that is inappropriate. His boss essentially being handsy. Nah, ma'am. And I mean, I certainly understand that because, again, if the situation was reversed and LeBron was a woman and Jeannie and Linda were two men, we would be looking at them all types of crazy. I think it is also, though, interpersonal relationships are different from everybody. And he might be comfortable with that. He's been, how long has LeBron been with the Lakers at this point? 5, 6 years? I'm unclear. I can't remember. The time is globbing together. But, you know, he might be used to her demeanor. They might have a really close relationship. You know, that might just be how she is. So I understand it makes some people uncomfortable. Urban Spinster, I think we talked about this on a show before, that, you know, when it comes to, if you have friends that are men that are married, you talked about how you respect, you don't call them after a certain hour, even if they don't, you know, issue that edict out. I understand that as well, because you want to be respectful to the wife. You want to make sure that the wife knows, I am not a threat. I am not looking to get into your situation. This is just friendship over here. Brother Alfonso says, LeBron sitting in full public with the owner who he makes millions for. Of course she loves LeBron. Facts on facts on facts. And Urban Spinster says, Steve Harvey says you cannot be friends with an ex or someone you're attracted to. So here's my thing. I have been friends with lots of exes. The problem comes in if one person, in theory, is still attracted to the other person. Then you could see how, you know, that could potentially cause problems, because they may not really understand that the situation is over, that it's just friendship. They might be trying to bide their time or whatever. But everything doesn't have to be, you know, burn it all down, enemy situation or whatever. Brother Alfonso says people are friends with people they find attractive every day. Agreed. But some people have different rules for their relationships, and they're really serious about those rules and about, you know, interactions, conversations, things of that nature. Again, I'm not doing all that. I don't believe that I should have to police another grown adult. Everybody should be able to be responsible for their own behavior. They should recognize what they are risking if they want to do something that is outside of the confines of the relationship. And I mean, again, personal choice, what you like to do. But for me, there was just a conversation that Joy Taylor and Taylor Rooks had on their podcast, Too Personal. And they discussed how they did not want to be with a man who didn't have any female friends. And I understand that, and I agree with them with that as well, because it means that he has, you know, some sense of someone he can talk to about the other side of things or things of that nature. A lot of people are like, he could talk to his mom or his sister or my mama or whatever. I am not going to work that hard to ensure that you are faithful to me. Being faithful to me is a choice, one you should willingly want to make. And I would hope that an individual would be mature enough, if they decided they needed other things or whatever, to speak on that. Again, I'm not going to lose my stuff because, you know, someone that I am dating or involved with is having a conversation with someone of the opposite sex. It's silly to me, you know. And granted, I know sometimes people can be inappropriate in their behavior and it may not be your ex, but can you really protect a grown person in that way? Again, I'm putting that onus on my significant other. So shout out to them. Speaking of crazy things happening with white women courtside at games, there was the other night a woman that accidentally photobombed a classic photo of Steph Curry. He was, you know, acting like he was teeing off the golf tee, hitting the golf tee after a particularly impressive game for the Golden State Warriors. And the woman was in the background jumping up. She had on a bustier top, rather large breasts. So, of course, you know, the internet is going to do what they do. And they came to discover that this woman in the photo probably got somebody in trouble because she is allegedly, well, not allegedly, she says she is an escort. And she said, like Fat Joe, price is going up after the photobomb picture. So I guess things like this are why people, you know, are like, nope, can't trust it. Gotta react to the situation and lock my significant other down. Don't talk to them. Don't get close to them. Don't get near them. Whatever. I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking about Cardi B. Cardi B also in this same live, she was not here for the LA food scene at night. She says that there is no freaking food in LA and that she was forced to eat Chef Boyardee ravioli because there was no place she could order from, no place good. I'm going to say I'm tired of you guys talking about LA's food. There is good places to eat. You got to not all of the aesthetically pleasing, sceney places necessarily have good food. You got to figure out where to go. Also, you know, we have a lot of variety, but you guys got to step out of your areas. Ask a local, too. That's just a side note. Brother Alfonso says, most people are comfortable with opposite sex friends you had before you met, not accumulating new ones. Well, here's the thing. What happens if you're working on a job? There's people of the opposite sex there. You know, I'm not talking about the work husband and wife, but even with that is an extension of a great working relationship. Sometimes, you know, you make friends as you get older. I mean, again, I understand the hesitancy. I understand the idea of a new friend seems like a new setup and, you know, it sounds very pick-me-ish to some people thinking that. But I just think that you got to be adults in the situation. And a person with the idea or the notion that they want to step out on their relationship, they're going to find a way to make it happen. Are there some times that people can be tempted? Yes. But if they're solid and they're in lock and step in their relationship and that's where they want to be and they're being adults, if they are feeling neglected or something like that, and they talk to the, you know, their other significant other, talk to the counselor, talk to someone, and you work through that, because there are going to be moments when you are attracted to someone else. Marriage doesn't stop those feelings from happening. There are going to be moments when you are maybe not feeling your relationship, and part of the discipline of the relationship is being able to work through it. Brother Alfonso says she was just complaining about Atlanta's food, talking about Cardi B. Listen, you know, people like to complain, and maybe they can't get to what they want all the time. I'll tell you this. Atlanta didn't have great food to me either. Like, I like Atlanta. I have fun. I've had some good meals, but not great meals. It's not a city that I think of like, oh, I'm going to go and eat down. But, you know, again, people are often regional too. So they're comfortable with the food from their region and they get locked into that. Listen, we have discussed a great deal tonight. Shout me out. Send me your comments if you have them. I know you guys have more commentary on the situation with Drea and Jalen Green or any of the other topics. Hit me up at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Make sure that you are locked in every day, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time for RSVP with Jill Munroe. I appreciate you VIPs for locking in. On the other side, the best of KBLA. That's what we have coming up for you. Thank you again. I hope you have an amazing night. And I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Me and Romeo ain't never been friends. Can't you see how much I really love him? Gonna sing it to you time and time again. Oh, Casanova, Casanova. Every man deserves a good woman, and I want Jill to